What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hob here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. And today with me, we got my brother B.
Bonjour.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
And joining soon as his computer done finished with an update, we got Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. Nice video.
There we go. Yeah, Sanj will be jumping in soon. And guys, today we're going to be talking about that Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings trailer, plus the Conjuring III, The Devil Made Me Do It trailer. Then we're going to get into that Mortal Kombat review because Mortal Kombat just came out last week on Friday. And then we'll give you our thoughts on the finale of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I could finally say it. I've been saying it this whole time, messing up. But yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't even catch that at the end.
You didn't even see that, right?
I didn't catch it. I guess in my head that was always what it said, so I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, man, that was a pretty interesting finale there. But let's get right into those two trailers that came out this week. Let's talk about this Shang-Chi trailer first, man. Unbelievable. Came out on Monday morning, and I believe it was because it was the main actor, which is Simu Liu. His birthday was on Monday, so kind of like Marvel taking the next level there, taking care of their actors on his birthday release that trailer. And the one thing I have to say with this trailer is it was completely Marvel, but then it was so not Marvel because there was nothing that hinted at anything before it, anything in it that has to do with the whole Marvel series or the universe that it created. I'm sure there's some world building things that are inside of the movie. There's possibly going to be like maybe one or two people that we know will show up in the movie that we know from the history of the MCU. But from what I saw in this trailer, it's strictly Simu Liu playing Shang-Chi. And then we also have the Mandarin, and then also Brandon's favorite comedian,
Aquafina.
Aquafina's up in this movie. So, Al, man, what was your thoughts, man? You saw this trailer, the Shang-Chi, on Monday. What were your thoughts?
Yes. Excuse me. I think to me it was more like of a teaser, so it was great because it was more of just building up the hype and the energy of wanting to see it and making you want more because it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't really give much of the story, but it gave a lot of what was going to be happening. So you had the action scenes. You see him beating up those punks on the train and everything. So then you see Aquafina as the bus driver, almost like from Speed at the end, talking about we make a great team. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, for one of their pieces that I have no knowledge of Shang-Chi. I have nothing about his character, what he's supposed to be able to do, nothing. So like I'm really looking forward to this one because I'm gonna go in like a normal moviegoer where you have nothing, no knowledge, you have no expectation of what to see.
Right.
So I'm actually looking forward to this one because of that.
Yeah, man. And Brandon, like you were saying, there was really nothing besides seeing, Shang-Chi there. Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi? I think it's Shang because I think Feige had said that in the Disney thing where he was showing off all the things that are down to come in the future. And I mean, look, the guy looks the part. He's killing it.
Yeah.
You got to do your no shirt pose in the trailer. But from what I saw, the one move, Brandon, in the bus where he hits the guys with a fist and then jumps up and kicks them both at the same time was like amazing. But what were your thoughts on the trailer, man?
Exactly what you said before. It feels like Marvel, but nothing. The nothing of that trailer reminded me of Marvel.
Right.
Like even knowing that this has the Mandarin in it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I just know this looks badass. Like he's doing some cool shit, and that's so cool. Like I dig all of it, and I'm so interested to see what this is about and how it fits into the grander scheme of things. Because it's like even like Shang-Chi's like comic book origin isn't so illustrious. Like he wasn't an Avenger either, so like he was just one of those guys who was around that hung out with the Avengers. Kind of like he was a hero for hire too, so kind of like Iron Fist. So I want to know why he's different from Iron Fist, other than the fact that Iron Fist isn't in the movies. Like even like he doesn't have powers. Like he really doesn't have powers. Like he just hits shit real hard. Like that's what he does.
Oh
it
my
even
God.
takes Iron Man to give him like a bracelet of some sort to give him like better chi controlling powers, kind of like Iron Fist. So I'm interested to see like where he fits in the story and then where they go with him. Because we
Mm.
even weren't sure like what when Doctor Strange came along, we didn't really know where they were going with him and
Right.
how he would fit into the stories. And he's so essential now. So I'm very interested in seeing if this is just another way of opening up other realms of possibility, like if Shang-Chi has some sort of mythical land like Iron Fist does, so we don't just have the multiverse and other realms, but now we have, mythical realms too, if that's opening up the doors for many other projects to come, I'm interested.
Yeah, definitely, man. And there's a lot of cool scenes in there that show some kind of fantasy elements. Some stuff like the what was that? The Crouching Tiger series, where they were kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
flying through the skies. I saw there was one scene that showed something like that. You saw the ancient lions of the Chinese culture there, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, man, definitely looking forward to this. This movie's coming out in September, sometime after, I think 2 months after the Black Widow movie in July. Something to look forward to. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. It
Yeah.
looks something interesting, man. Then the other trailer that came out this week, which I was surprised to see, because I was talking about it the other week. I was like, yo, there haven't been a trailer for this thing. It's coming out like 2 months from now or a month from now. And we got our Conjuring 3, one of my favorite horror series. That little Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2 have been absolutely crazy. So I'm looking forward to Conjuring 3. But Al, I know you love horror like I do, but that Conjuring 3 trailer it was okay. It wasn't too crazy, but it definitely made me look like I want to see it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't as scary as the first two commercials for the first two movies there.
Yeah, yeah, but still, I guess since I've been so long for a good horror movie that
Yeah.
came out, it got me excited, it got me looking forward to that movie coming out again. I almost forgot it was coming out. Like I
Yeah.
lost track of when it was supposed to come out, that it was coming out this year. So it put that back on my radar, and put it back in a good way. So definitely looking forward to that movie coming out. And I'm glad it's HBO Max and theaters at the same time. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Another
yeah,
reason to stay home and watch it and be safe.
yeah.
And I mean, Brandon, what about you, man? What's your thoughts, man? The devil made me do it with that interesting first scene there where the guy's walking. Dude, when the
you
police
know
officer's like his eyes open up, I'm like, what's he looking
Guy's
at?
covered in blood. Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I,
crazy.
I've got a I got a theory about this stuff, and we'll talk about that when it comes to Mortal Kombat. But I am just like Al. I've been missing something that has been on the major side of horror, because we got those little A-list movies that have been horror suspense, and I'm waiting for more of that horror thriller. Like the Conjuring series has brought before. So
Right.
I'm interested in seeing this movie just because I missed that, and I love the other Conjuring movies. I know the story behind this court case. So there's not a lot to that. So I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do with the Warrens, because if you do know the court case, the Warrens were like involved like a little bit, but this movie
Yeah.
is making it seem like they're involved a lot of bit. So I want to see what they do with the story to make them so much more involved, and then make it more suspenseful, because they're in the actual court case. There's not a lot of talk of ghosts. Like ghosts come here and there, like supernatural and the possession side of things, but like it's not heavy on ghost and such. So I'm interested in seeing if this is going to be more on the thriller suspense side of things than
Mhm.
on the horror scary side. So I'm interested. I want to see it, but I've got my reservations.
Yeah, listen, I can say for the Conjuring series, like there's a whole Conjuring universe, right? I feel like Conjuring 1 and 2 are the mainstays of the horror for the Conjuring universe. But those like the Nun, the La Llorona, all that stuff,
Uh,
like those weren't
Annabelle.
as good. Yeah, Annabelle, they're not as good as the Conjuring movies. So that's the only hope that I have with the Conjuring 3 there. So I'm hoping to see something crazy because again, a court case being, told that there's demonic possession. There's a lot of stuff we could probably do with that. But Brandon, with those movies, they always based on a true
Yeah.
story. So like two
Yeah,
lines were actually real.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were like there to say yeah, I think he was possessed, and then they left. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen here with Ghost in a cliff in the valley here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, crazy,
Well, I'm sure
man.
there's probably going to be like a lot of interaction showing the demonic possession as to why they actually went to court to say, yeah, he was possessed. So it'll
Yeah.
probably be a lot of that background where they had to interview him and everything. So yeah, we may see a lot of that more so than actually in the courtroom.
Oh man, I can't wait to see this one, man. And I have a feeling I know what Brandon's gonna say about the Conjuring 3. But we'll get to it when we talk about Mortal Kombat. Man, Mortal Kombat, man, came out this Friday.
Hmm.
Let's get into it. Let's do a non-spoiler review. We won't give out any secrets, who's in it, what characters are in it, what we saw, and everything. We'll just give a basic little thing about what we thought. Um, Brandon, why don't you lead us off on your thoughts of Mortal Kombat without spoilers there?
Okay, without spoilers, Mortal Kombat. For those of you who don't know the story of Mortal Kombat, you would probably say this movie was fun. No better than that. You know, there's a lot of comedy in there that's unexpected, but it's welcomed. I did enjoy the comedy.
Yeah.
It was fun. You know, it was fun for an hour and a half that I got to watch it, which I
Yeah.
think is also an issue. You know, the the plot of the story is very much the plot of the Mortal Kombat reboot story that's happened in the last 5 years. So it very much follows the video games as of the last 5 years. So if you've played the games, you know exactly the story and why all these things happen, exactly how they happen in the movie. Um, but it just the plot didn't develop, and it was a very good movie to set up future movies, which I know is a plan. But like other than that, like it was a little lackluster in the enjoyment of it. It
All right.
was a fun hour and a half.
All right, you're gonna save that there for the spoiler version there, Brandon. Yeah,
Yep,
seems like you got a lot to say, Brandon.
got a lot to say.
And then welcoming in Sans. Sans, man, thank you for making it out today, my brother.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you as always. Sorry I'm late. Little technical difficulties on my end. How
Oh
you
man,
guys
no
doing?
worries, man. We're doing good, brother. Glad to have you. And Sans, we're just going over a spoiler-free review of Mortal Kombat. Did you get a chance to watch that this weekend?
I did.
All right. So what was your thoughts, man? Without telling anything like the real like stuff that happens or spoiling anything, what was your thoughts on Mortal Kombat?
So what Brandon said, ditto.
Son, just saving it for the
Let's
spoilers.
not waste time on spoiler free. Like I ain't got nothing new to say. From what Brandon said. So let's not waste it there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Gotcha.
efficiency, bro. Like
How about yourself, Al? Man, you got to watch it over the weekend. What was your thoughts without any
With no
spoilers?
spoilers. Well, if you played the games, if you like the whole history of the franchise, there was a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of stuff that stayed true to the video game and the storyline. Um, there was a lot of stuff that didn't stay true, or that they went out on their own, I guess, to justify a new movie and a new storytelling. Some things I liked, some that I didn't. They introduced a new character. I felt, why did you need to introduce this character? So I felt like that was a waste.
Mhm.
But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I think anyone who likes the Mortal Kombat franchise and story and the game, definitely you'll enjoy it for, like Sanjay B said, for the hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. But you're not going to walk away talking about, oh, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, man, listen, I kind of feel what these guys are saying. It's definitely something that if you are a Mortal Kombat fan, or even if you're not, you're looking for something to do and something to watch. If you're listening to this podcast, you're more than likely a movie fan. So you're going to watch this movie. And to be honest with you guys, it is an okay movie. I think that if you are a Mortal Kombat fan, you're going to find a lot of like things that you like, but also some things that you're like, why did they do that? And as someone who has not followed the lore like myself, I stopped playing Mortal Kombat after Mortal Kombat 3. And, I still see here and there stuff that happens online and things about Mortal Kombat. To me, it was okay. I didn't agree with some of the things that they did do, but one thing I do have to say is the visual effects on this is crazy. It actually makes a lot of these characters and their moves and some of the things that they can do look legit. But the story itself just needed a little bit of work, a
Yeah.
little better dialogue. Dialogue definitely was terrible. Um, and all I can say is I wouldn't rush to see it, but you still see it because it's Mortal Kombat, you know. So listen, that's our spoiler free. That's all y'all get from that, because I see these guys want to put in a little Mortal Kombat burns in here. So let's get it going. We're going right into spoilers here for Mortal Kombat. And Brandon, let's get that off the chest there, Brandon. What happened, P?
Get it? Introducing Cole Young as a way for us to relate to somebody because he has a family and such, and he's modern. But like, come on, like you're gonna give me the whole point that Cole Young was in this movie was for the 5 minute Scorpion got to show up at the end? Come on, give me a break. Like, he served no purpose other than getting Scorpion on the screen. Come on. And then Scorpion barely did that himself. Ugh, waste.
Oh
And it
man,
was so cool.
so Sanj, man, what about you, man? What was your thoughts on pretty much Iron Man 2 of Mortal Kombat here?
I thought the best part of the movie was the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
The fight scenes, and it was so beautifully set up in a serene forest, I guess in Japan.
Yeah.
It was either China or Japan, but right? It was in
It
Japan,
was Japan.
And,
Yeah. It just Sub-Zero is Chinese, so he spoke
right?
Chinese and
Chinese.
Japanese.
And then, beautiful setting, and then, they set it up very low. You knew what was going to happen, but they just set it up so lovely. And the choreography of the fighting, and then the tragedy of Sub-Zero, killing Scorpion, or Hanzo, as he was known at the time. And then it kind of just went from there, to like, it went from there to like, Bloodsport. Yeah, it was basically a Van Damme movie from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the Kumite. That's what it was. It went right into Kumite. Like, okay, USA. That was
Oh my god.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I really did. My son enjoyed it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that I let my son watch that movie because of some of the graphic stuff and all the cursing and everything. But whatever. So my son watched it with me. He loved it.
Right.
But the plot line there of having Scorpions, his distant
So
descendant.
distant. The
Right.
distant
Descendant.
distant.
It was like centuries, right? Yeah.
And then his superpower
He's like the
was so
30th one.
right. His superpower was so lame. I feel like, Sonya Blaze, she stole the show more than anything. Because
Right?
she was the badass, right? She got more shine than Scorpion even.
I think Brad is mad.
I don't want to get caught up in saying too much bad stuff because I did enjoy it, but it was set up well in that first 10 minutes, and they could have done a lot better.
You know what it is? I
based
think
on
you're
how they
upset
set
because
it
of
up.
how much potential it had to be good.
Yes.
There was so much potential. If they just took out Cole Young, made Liu Kang the center of it, and then I did kind of like the Liu Kang actor. I think they went with somebody else, but I was I don't know, I was back and forth about him. But like, what the whole thing is I think the biggest mistake they did is that they released Scorpion's Revenge last year.
Gotcha.
That was the biggest mistake they made because you can see how this movie was so close to being Scorpion's Revenge, and they're like, well, if we just put Cole Young here and make him go through the movie, we don't have to have a Scorpion's Revenge until the end. So like, you can see they were tiptoeing around it so much that it was an overall problem for the story. Is just you didn't really know who to center it around, and then you made Cole Young, and I don't know if I'm wrong here, but did the fight choreography get worse as the movie went on?
Yes, that's just it. Like, so it was so good looking and everything. All the scenes and the cinematography, everything in that first 10 minutes was so great. And then all of a sudden, the special effects were just so bad.
Like,
and they
even
put too much of an emphasis
Jax,
on it.
yeah, even Jax versus Sub-Zero, that was really cool. But by the time we got to the end, I was like, the fuck did I just watch? I was like, how did we take such a decline? You know, and I don't know if COVID had anything to do with, you know, the ending of production or any of the movie filming. You know, I honestly believe if that was to be the case, I can see why things like that happen. But, you know, at the same time, like, fuck. Like,
You know what? You know what? It started off like it had a Game of Thrones trajectory, right? Started off so awesome, right? And then it was like they just scribbled the ending.
Al, man, as a fan of the Mortal Kombat series there, Al, what was your thoughts on everything, man? How'd you think about the movie there? Same kind of
Same
thing?
thing like what they're saying. Yeah, like I like the beginning, the way it's set up, the backstory to Scorpion. You find out that animosity. Well, they don't even really explain why there's such an animosity between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. He just shows up at Scorpion. Hanzo's house to kill and finalize the bloodline. I mean, he makes reference that he's a great warrior, but nothing as to why their two clans are fighting, especially when they're from two different countries. But in terms of the shooting, the style, the fighting and everything, that was great. So it got me excited, got me ready for the movie. And then it, like Brandon said, it just tanked from there. They didn't really build up any of the characters. They just bring them on, and we're supposed to believe that they're all these badass fighters. The choreography for the fights wasn't much. I felt like they were relying too much on showing the finishing moves and the CGI and everything. And there was never a tournament. They keep telling you, oh, you've been chosen to participate in a tournament. And the first Mortal Kombat, you see the fights, like you see that it's a tournament. This one, it just felt like, all right, they invaded the temple. You're gonna go defend them.
Backyard beatdown.
Yeah, and let's go split up. It didn't feel like, okay, this is round one, round two, and then you're in it was nothing. They just all individually fought, and that was it. And then they would declare the winners. Yeah,
they got rushed to all that.
And you bring in Cole Young, and I understand what he was as far as a device for the movie. He was supposed to represent us. So, like, as the whole history and everything about Mortal Kombat is being explained to him, it could be explained to the audience. Okay, fine. But you could have used any of the other characters, just like the first one used Liu Kang. Like, you could have used an actual character. And to me, to introduce a new one who's supposed to be Scorpion's bloodline. So now, do you kill him off? Is the next movie going to have another person from the bloodline? Maybe
he's there to protect the bloodline.
Yeah, but the only next bloodline was his own daughter. So the daughter of the next fighter. Like, yeah. So there was so much about the story I felt was weak. They really watered down Raiden because again, he couldn't even protect not only the Earth realm, he couldn't even protect this temple. So it was,
He's like, nah, sorry. They took down my lightning wall. That's all I got. That's all I got. Sorry.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be like a god, but so I'm like,
they hit the off switch. My bad.
I will say the scene when oh my god, the other god, the bad god, Shang Tsung, when he stole the soul or ate the soul, that scene was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
And that, like, even that too, like the character development of the rest of the ensemble was so weak to the fact, like, only if you know Mortal Kombat as a video game would you understand why Kung Lao had to die. It was the only way you would understand that. But other than that, he was such a waste. He was wasted. Like,
and he was actually the best warrior.
Yeah. Like, he has to die to progress Liu Kang's story. Like, it's just the way it works in Mortal Kombat. But, like, they could have saved it for the second one. Like, his character wasn't even fleshed out.
Make it an impact in the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What they should have done, honestly, man, if they're trying to build a universe, if they weren't trying to build a universe, they would have had the Mortal Kombat tournament this movie, right? But they're trying to build
Yeah, I
this like
mean,
cinematic universe, so they should have made this the Sub-Zero Scorpion thing. That would have been crazy to find out, like Al said, why do they hate each other? Why is Sub-Zero trying to kill his family? That would have been nuts. But we got this movie where they're trying to cram in a couple of people in here and there and show us a couple of people that we know. It
In an
just
hour
seemed
and
like,
a half.
yeah, it was kind of crazy to me. I like you guys all said at the beginning, the first 10 minutes was incredible.
I
That
mean, if
whole fight
they
scene, that was
if they
nuts,
had done it right, they could have done a whole Fast and Furious kind of deal where they make 10 movies off of this, and we would have kept coming back for the same movie every time.
right?
Yeah.
You know,
Imagine that. At the end,
just
we get
like
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and then at the
yes,
next
yeah,
episode,
build it up, like
yeah.
like you said, if you're gonna do that, start with that. Let's see the origin of Scorpion and Sub Zero, and even maybe the origin of the Mortal Kombat tournament itself.
Yeah.
So much they could have did there. It was
Yeah,
had
man.
so much potential.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I would have liked a Sonya Jax movie. You know what I'm saying? Going looking for Kano and the what was the order for Kano? He was the
Black
The
Dragon.
the Black
Black Dragon.
Dragons, yeah. That could have been a movie in itself also, with other people like Stryker and all these other players in there. Cabal could have been in that one as well. So it's like they could have done these things, but I guess they try to put as many players as they could inside the movie, man. But it was just yeah, like you guys said, it was a little disappointing to see how they wrote this thing out because it did have potential. Like I said, the guys, I don't know if you agree with me with this, but Goro looked great. The special effects for some of the character moves look great. I have big shout out to Kung Lao's fatality. That was
Oh,
nuts.
forget
So-
Oh yeah.
yeah, man.
That was the
how-
part where I was like, "Ooh, maybe my child shouldn't be watching this." That was the point.
yeah, not Jax's arm being ripped off.
No, 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 no.
But that was in the preview. That was in the commercial. So
Yeah, I mean, they put that out on TV, like
crazy, man.
So here's my
Go
thinking
for it.
here, and this is where this all comes in with the Conjuring. I think that WB in their plan for this whole 2021 release of HBO Max and movie theater deal, I think they're pushing out the most okay of movies, and I think they knew that. And
it's
I
like
think
extra
that's why.
medium. That's
Yeah.
what they're giving it. This extra medium.
Like ever since that one Denzel movie, I forgot what it was. The one just
Little
came out like
Things.
4 months. The Little Thing. From that moment on, I'm like, anything that's coming out is going to be terrible. It's going to be decent at best, and we're all so hyped for it, and it's going to be decent. And look, everything's come out has been or okay. Like I think WB man, that HBO was kind of like, yo, who's got an almost done movie? You got it? Is it like okay? All right, let's put it out. Let's put it out.
Just cut and paste the ending. Just cut. And
Yeah,
paste.
man. Like, I feel like the rest of the movies that are coming out on HBO Max for the rest of this year are gonna be garbage.
Nah, see, you know what it is. When these people they're making these movies, they're putting them out, right? I doubt they're saying like, okay, just you're gonna make an okay movie. There's no
Well,
way.
I mean, look,
They're ending up okay, and
we've had 6
Think about it.
releases.
These are listen. The people that make movies, the people that do anything is always a cross section of society, right? And let's take it to like high school, right? You got the kids that's gonna do really, really well, and they put in the effort, and they're gonna get really, really good grades. And then you got those kids that have the potential, but they just do enough. They do enough to get by. So don't tell me that there isn't people making movies that are just like, you know what? We'll make a good enough movie. We'll do
Like, there's a reason. There's a reason Black Widow got pushed a whole nother year. Like, come on, like,
right.
like
Yeah,
there's
there's
faith in
definitely
that
people making movies that are just like, we'll put it out. It's good enough.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, and even Dune,
the
like
6 pieces.
Dune, I think they're even talking about that they're gonna put it back to theater only.
theaters only. Yeah, they're
Yeah, so
talking
they
about
took it out of the
Yeah.
circulation. Yeah.
See,
So
Like
with
if
our
they're, if
thoughts,
they're just throwing it out there, like you can just get
Yeah.
it on a streaming service, it's probably good enough.
all right. So listen, hearing your guys' thoughts, let's just go around real quick. Are you guys looking forward to a Mortal Kombat 2, or yeah, it is what it is?
I mean, I love Mortal Kombat, so if they put it out, I'm gonna see it and hope that they've done better. I'm gonna hope they learn this time, and they do better. hopefully they kill off Cole off screen, like they do sometimes. I hope they do that, and I just hope they do better. That's it.
Sanj, how about yourself, man?
Of
Mortal
course,
Kombat
I'm
2?
looking forward to another Mortal Kombat movie. I'm a movie hoe. It don't gotta be good. I just gotta get some. You know?
We got you. How about you, Al, man? Mortal Kombat 2?
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to another one, but it'll have to be on a streaming service. I don't know if I'd go check it out in a theater.
I got you, man. And
I
then
was like,
I guess
it's gotta be like Tinder. I'm not taking nobody out on a date.
Is that on Redbox?
is that on Redbox?
Redbox on demand? Is that?
Ooh, that's like the STD of movies. I don't know. Skanky.
So listen, to kind of end this on a positive for Mortal Kombat, because again, listen, man, I'm just grateful for the movies that we are getting to see. What was the highlight of Mortal Kombat for you, Brandon?
Kano.
Kano.
He made the whole movie for me. Like, other than that, the rest of the dialogue would have been shit. I would have been copped out a long time ago.
Sanj, the highlight for you.
The first 10 minutes of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. If that was the whole movie, they could have stopped that, and I would have been like, okay, this is great. I'm right, and I will be happy to wait for the next installment. That was, they could have stopped it right there.
Al, highlight Mortal Kombat.
Yes, it's that opening scene at the farm, and then Kung Lao's fatality of Melina.
Oh God, yes, yeah, that's gonna be my highlight too, man. That Kung Lao fatality was like, oh, but not for nothing. Also, there's the ending, not the ending, but the scene where they're all fighting people at the same time from the Dark World, where they showed up on the Outworld. I'm sorry, Outworld. They showed up at, and they were fighting. Jax got a chance at the guy with the hammer. Sonya got Kano. I think Luke. Liu Kang and no, it wasn't
Cabal.
Liu Kang. It was Liu Kang got Cabal. That was kind of cool to see them all fighting at the same time and seeing the fatalities and special moves and things like that. That was pretty cool for those like 5-10 minutes, real quick. The ending fight with Goro was like, it was okay. I just didn't get where he got superpowers to beat up Goro after he was getting his ass kicked. But all right, yeah.
He found his kana. And his
I think.
We were trying to end on a good note.
Was an outfit. Was a
They
sweater.
were trying to find the plot line
his
for
superpower was a sweater.
His defense sucks. So like here,
it was a Gucci sweater.
Sucks, so
yeah, I swear.
I swore it was a Gucci sweater, not a Gucci.
Yeah, I swear I saw the zipper in the back on one scene.
Yeah, zipper up. Someone help me! I'll grab my zipper.
That was so bad, dude. Oh,
the second they said in the beginning, they're like, "Oh yeah, defense sucks." I'm like, okay, so his thing's gonna be something about defense. They gave him a sweater he can get beat the shit out of him, so that way he didn't have to do defense. Just hit me, I hit back.
They gave him the Black Panther suit where it absorbs contact and he can send it back. I'm like, really? That's his superpower? So now I have a movie format question for you guys.
Go for it, man.
So that opening scene, the 10 minutes there, does that count as the first act, or is that a prelude?
I call it a prelude, like what Marvel does.
Yeah, I think prelude because it was like the history, and then they brought it to current times. Yeah, prelude.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, Mortal Kombat. I'm sure it sounds like we hated it, but it was all right. It was okay.
It was okay.
It's like, you're not in love with it, you're in like with it.
It's not cinema. Definitely not cinema.
No,
not
even the C.
Enema, yes. Cinema, no. Oh, man. Amazing stuff, man. It writes itself. What's it called? So listen, man, that's our review for Mortal Kombat of us killing it. The last thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is going to be the finale of The Falcon, or should I say Captain America and the Winter Soldier. This one was called One World, One People, episode 6 here. And guys, I got to tell you now, we're going to go straight into spoilers. There is no such thing as a non-spoiler for a Marvel 1-hour episode. Let's get right into it. Sanj, what were your thoughts of this episode? Because this shit was crazy.
Well, on the one hand, Sam Wilson can't fight. Like he, like he needs, like they need to get him some lessons. You know, he needs to go through the Mortal Kombat training. You know, to find his kana. You know,
They're like, you sure you don't want that super serum?
right? You know,
You sure you don't want it?
Dude, he
Like,
was
I'll be
having
like,
a
I
hard
like
time with
he's having
Batroc,
a real
man.
hard- yeah.
it.
That being said, though, the suit was incredible.
Oh, it
That
looked so
suit.
good.
I love
Oh,
that suit. It was nice.
And
that
then
was
just
pristine white. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm wearing
yeah.
right now, pristine white.
But I mean the story that they put forth there, the emotion that they took you through. Oh, it was just incredible. And contrary to his fighting ability, Sam Wilson as a Captain America, I think he has naturally progressed the Captain America mantle itself into something new. In addition to just being, you know, the hero, the freedom fighter, you know, he's really taken on this is as an activist role as well. You know, so it was just incredible.
Yeah. Al, your thoughts on the series there? I mean, not the series, the episode.
The episode. As a finale, I thought it did everything it had to do. It wrapped up like almost. I don't think there was not one story plot or story element throughout the series that they didn't finalize. You know, we saw the culmination of Sam turning into Captain America. We saw Bucky, you know, come to the Winter Soldier, you know, finish out the elimination of Winter Soldier. I mean, he even got his little hero pose landing at one point in the episode.
Yeah.
So no, in terms of finishing up the series, I thought it did a real good job. But it left some openings for, I guess, either next season or other movies that this will tie into to finish off other stories, especially like Sharon Carter. I still don't buy the whole thing that they set up. I'm not buying it.
All right. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. B, talk to me, man. What's your thoughts after you watched that episode 6 there?
I like Al, you know, it did a really great job of tying up all the story ends. A little muddy here and there with certain things, but you know, the Sam, you know, embracing Captain America and the way they handled the basically his whole transition into the role was incredible. Throughout the entire episode, you know, everything he did as Captain America, you know, I was in love with, you know, because I'm starting to feel the way about Anthony Mackie that I did about I'm blanking on his
Chris
name.
Evans?
Oh my god, Chris Evans. You know,
That's
like
how good Anthony Mackie is. He made you forget Chris
Yeah.
Evans.
I forgot his name for a second. He's not Captain America anymore. You know, like he did such a great job that I believe that Anthony Mackie is now Captain America.
Yeah, absolutely, man. My thoughts the same. I absolutely loved episode 6. You know, I think some of you guys touched on it that some of the parts of it, like the Flag Smashers, Sharon Carter, was a little iffy. But the story of Sam becoming Captain America, the story of Isaiah Bradley, Zemo, dude, even John Walker, dude. Those stories
Yeah.
there were done fantastic throughout the series and ended off pretty cool on this series. So we're going to get into like little details now of the episode. And I just got to tell you guys off the bat, I think I was jumping to conclusions on a lot of shit. You know, when those little green balls that they threw into the GRC came out, the first thing I thought was Norm Osborn. I thought that was the Green Goblin's little thing. I don't know if any of you guys got that vibe. And I was just like,
definitely.
Norm Osborn is the power broker. So but I have to realize contracts and like that's, you know, Sony stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was hoping and wishing, but you know, the whole thing with the GRC plan being stopped, that was pretty cool. And that's when we get our first look at that suit when it comes into the window there with the shield first, and then the shield helps break the window, making it easier for Sam to break through it afterwards. And then you get that first look at that suit, man. Jesus Christ, that thing looks so good, man. He stood up. And I said, dude, I cannot even believe that I started getting teary-eyed looking at that man like that. I was like, what is this?
It's so beautiful.
Oh, whoa.
Beautiful.
I didn't know I loved him this much, but dude, he stood up but again, it's the writing of the story because from episode 1 till now, I'm wanting him to take up the mantle, and I know what he's going through to take up the mantle. So I can only feel for him and almost be proud of him, like he's a brother or a friend of mine that was like, yeah, Yeah. Al, man, tell me your thoughts, man. That shield goes through the window and he rolls in and he stands up, man. What's your thoughts, man?
Nah, kid, I'd like that was how they introduced him as Captain America in the suit. Like I thought it
Right.
would have been cheesy if they showed him in the room and they do that pan up from the feet up and show the suit that way. Like that they just showed it to us with him already in action, throwing the shield, diving in, the wings. Yeah, now that was the way you bring him in. Just put him into action right away and show
Right.
him in the suit. The only thing I think I like the idea so much of what Sanj said last week of it being like the nano suit that I was really hoping that's how the suit was. It was like just a nano suit, and the head unit was something that could dissolve off when he needed to speak, and then would dissolve back on when he was ready to go back. But otherwise, just in terms of the look, it was real good. They stood like almost as comic accurate, I think, as you could be in terms of
Yeah,
his suit.
definitely,
So
Yeah.
man.
yeah, man. And then even later, when you see him on the bridge and he's deflecting and he has to protect the pilot from the helicopter, the way that forget it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And
Yeah.
then after he breaks through that window, man, Al, you see, I mean, in Sanj, you see that Sharon is there with Bucky down there, and also Carly sends in someone to say, she says over a radio system, he's here, go get him. We didn't know who she was talking to, but apparently it's Batroc. And Sanj, as you said, he needs to learn how to fight. That that was an ass whipping, Sanj.
I mean, he ran away from the fight. He had to run away from the fight because he knew he was going to get his ass kicked. You know, he was clearly out of his depth in that fight.
But that says something, man. I mean, Batroc, man. You saw like he
He's a
was putting up a
leaper.
fight against he was putting up a fight against Captain America and Winter Soldier, and also in the beginning, the first episode, he was putting up a fight. This one, you see that Sam was kind of coming up with some moves as well, but then once the shield went away, it was like it's like I
Run
got
away, run away.
Yeah.
yeah, man. And then once we get there, we see Bucky trying to help out as well. He gets a phone call from Carly talking about trying to get him out of the plan there. And I think one of the longer parts of this show, this episode at least, was that this whole helicopter chase thing with Sam. I think that's one of the things that kind of like killed it a little bit for me because that seemed like it took a long, long time there, Brandon. What'd you think about the whole helicopter and Sam going after it and everything there?
I saw that scene as a bit long too.
Yeah.
It was drawn out because it was like, oh, he had to identify the one person in this helicopter who could fly a helicopter. So I'm like, okay, so how is he gonna get the pilot out? And that was like, what, like it was almost 10 minutes of that. And I like the scene because it got to show you what he could do, not just with the shield, but with his wings and how they integrated together. Like, I really liked how the shield had its own place
Yeah, it's like a
within.
magnet attachment there.
Yeah, and he could almost kind of like, kind of like those kid toys that you would, they have a little disc and you shoot the disc. It kind of had that same effect, and I started laughing when that happened. But I was like, you know what? If I had this on my back, like I would want that same thing to happen. Like, kind of hit the button, it just flies off and hits shit. Like,
But imagine
so
you forget to put your head down, like when
you pull a Zemo, get a Zemo there. But I like the scene a lot. Like, it was long. It took a while, but I like how he did have to not just barge into the helicopter. Like, your assumption is he's going to break into the helicopter and then like fly people out. So I like there had to be a process and a plan on how to get this lady up to the front. And it just felt long, like a bit long. Like they could have cut that to like 5 minutes instead of 10. It would have been
Yeah.
better for me.
Gotcha, man. And then Sanj, man, we also have here Sharon taking out one of the super soldiers with one of those bombs there. And I'm not sure where you were with Sharon being the power broker before the episode, but where were you with that scene and also with Sharon being the power broker there?
Well, I think they set us up to think that she's like I'm with Al. contrary to all the evidence that we've seen so far and her interacting that way in the final episode, she may not be the power broker. She may be doing something else, or somebody else may be the power broker, and she may be an intermediary in some way. I'm just not buying the complete thing that she's the power broker, but definitely, like, with the story going the way it was, her being basically, persona non grata, in the world, not having a home, not being able to come home. They were kind of setting her up, because there was no real other role she was playing other than being a plot device to get them technology and
access to stuff,
access to
satellites and stuff. Yeah.
Otherwise, so that, how would she have all of that? That was a little bit much for her to have if she wasn't in some way connected to the power broker. So I want to see where they go with that.
Gotcha. Absolutely, man. And then Al, we get to some funny scenes here. We got one thing that happens with Carly where she's trying to tell the guys what her plan is. Her team there, I think there was like 3 or 4 of them with her, and she she gives them the one world, one people. She goes, one world, and they're like, you just said to murder these people. That wasn't the plan. So we have that going on, and then we also have John Walker being part of the team.
Yeah.
That was kind of confusing. Al, what was your thoughts on those two there?
Well, I thought that her team was going to break from her for a second. Like you said, like you could tell they were having a problem with just outright killing people. Because even the one woman says to her back, like, "Yo, we were only supposed to use them as hostages." And then you saw that they were more now afraid of her than believing in her cause. So, like, it would have been cool to see. I mean, it was the finale, so you're going to see everything shortened. But like, I wonder if they could have shown like her losing her people because she's going down this road. But yeah, you saw that. Then you saw John
Walker
agent, John Walker. I like the way. I mean, I like the way they brought him back into the fold of actually being a good guy. He's going to be the anti-hero, but I like that turn. Like that you show you did the scene where he's at the top and the truck is about to fall and he has to make
that was pretty good.
Do I get my revenge or do I save these people? And he actually chose to save people and be a hero. And then that interaction between him and Bucky later when he actually catches the group and he gives that Lincoln quote and he goes, "What? That's a great quote." He goes, "Yeah, not from you."
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. That's one of the things that confused me. Is that the last time we saw John Walker was with his arm broken from a fight between these guys, and it's like you all of a sudden have respect for Bucky and you're working with them, but then he still had his fucking crazy moments because he was still still twitching.
Remember, he was tweaking, man. He was tweaking off that super serum.
That was the one of the muddier parts of the episode for me. Like I like that he got a chance to have redemption, but I thought it was too early. Like from all that anger that was pent up, like for him to just make the decision to save people was the thing that like flipped him back. I didn't really buy it. I was actually really hoping that it would take him to take out Carly, and then him and Sam would have to duke it out. And then he would, do something heroic. But, for him to kind of just show up on the scene and like, okay, I'm going to help you guys. Oh, okay, I didn't do such a good job, but I'm part of the team now. Like, I didn't really feel that. So I was like, all right. Like, it was quick. Like, I don't know how long this episode's going to be. So I guess they got to settle this kind of quickly,
Sanj, how about you, man? Were you okay with John Walker being kind of like the anti-hero but hero in this episode after last week's episode and the week before?
Well, you knew he wasn't going to give up because they showed us the cut scene or the ending scene of him making his own shield there. Mm-hmm. So you knew he wasn't just going to sit it out on the sideline. So you knew he was going to show up at some point. What was he going to show up as? It didn't make much sense for him to show up on the side of the Flag Smashers or anything like that. So he came in going straight after Carly. So it wasn't like he was really out there trying to be part of the team. He came in and he went straight after her. And it was in that moment where he had the choice between going after her and saving these people. So even though clearly he's killed and he's unhinged, when he killed before, it was somebody that he saw as a guilty person, and he still says, "Look, there's these innocent people here, and I have to try to save these innocent people." So I was okay with it. They didn't completely redeem him, but they didn't completely make him a bad guy either.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess that's a good way to end him pretty much for the story at this point, because then later on we see something else happen to him. We'll talk about that as we get there.
Right. You leave him ambiguous.
Yeah, man. And then the next scene we get is actually one of the standout scenes of this show, is while he's trying to save those people from the falling truck that's coming off the construction site there, all of a sudden that truck starts to fall again, and then all of a sudden it stops. And then you see the real Shield coming up. And Al, man, you get Sam's star moment there where he comes in, he lifts the truck back up with the two Red Wings now. Looks like he has two Red Wings. And, they push the truck back up and he lands. And the first thing one of the crowd people say is, "That's the Black Falcon."
Yeah.
And then the guy right next to him, "Nah, man, that's Captain America."
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it was, I mean, I felt like that was a little bit too much. They could have left that out and just gone to, "Oh, that's Captain America,"
And then how he glided down, floated.
Yeah.
I just like how
He
when they showed
descended like an angel from upon high.
Yeah.
Black Jesus.
Listen. Don't go around calling just anybody Black Jesus, because then Michael Jordan's gonna come after us, because for him that'll make it personal, and real fan review, and then they call somebody else Black Jesus, and for me that made it personal. Like I can just hear Mike saying it now,
Mike carrying the wings, Mike with the wings. But I like how they showed the crowd of people when they said, "Oh, that's the Black Falcon." And then all of a sudden they showed like, "Nah, they're just directly behind this truck." And I'm like, why are they so close to this truck? Why are they on the scaffolding? They should be in the street. Like, what?
Because they needed that reporter to ask that stupid question. "Oh, what is it, Captain Falcon?" Like I was.
Falcon punch.
Yeah, man. So listen, that this scene happens, and then they, you see that the Flag Smashers are about to attack Bucky and John Walker there, and then Sam hits them with the cut it out shield move to everybody. Everybody gets bounced back, and Batroc hits them with the smoke screen, and we get the chase inside of this, I guess, construction site or wherever it is. And this is where we get the scene where, like, Al says he's not convinced that this is the power broker, but I can kind of see that, because it's not like she says she's the power broker, but at the same time, Carly goes up to her saying she's disappointed. She said that she let her down because Carly stole the super soldier serum there from her, and then also at the same time, the conversation was kind of like going back and forth for her to kind of rejoin Sharon in Madripoor or wherever they were going to do, right? But then here comes Batroc. He's like, "Oh, so you're the power broker? The price just went up 4 times." We get our Mexican standoff, and those never end well. So, but
I mean, it ended well in in the good, the bad, and the ugly. But okay.
Definitely, man. And then Sanj, man, we get the scene here where it's basically Carly, the last one standing out of the standoff. Sharon takes out Batroc, and then also Carly takes a shot at Sharon in the stomach. But then Falcon gets there, or our new Captain America gets there, and he's there trying to talk to her still. He's still trying to talk to her, which is one of the reasons why he is the Captain America for us, because he is there trying to resolve issues, not just fight the issues. And regardless of what was what was happening, what he saw, he still wouldn't pass judgment on Carly, man. What was your thoughts on his conversation and not fighting back?
The conversation was great. He was establishing himself as in a new way as Captain America. Like, this is how I'm going to approach it. This is what I'm here to do. This is what we need now. We don't need more, fighting and explosions and killing. And he's like, we need to sit, listen to what each other is saying, and find another way to resolve this. Yes, I understand what you're saying, and then the fact that he would not fight her, like you could see the frustration, like just that building in her, and she kept telling him, "Stay down, then," and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna stay down. I'm not gonna fight you." It was incredible. It was just
That's
an
crazy.
incredible scene. Yeah,
That's crazy.
and she's a super soldier. You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, it's not like it's somebody like ordinary, and you're just like, okay, you're punching and it kind of hurts or anything. No, this is like you taking some hits.
Absolutely, man. And then
Yeah.
Al, you see that she knocks the shield out of his hands, and the gun is there. She grabs the gun. I personally feel she was going to take the shot, man. I think she was going to take out, Sam there.
Yeah.
But Sharon comes in to cover her. What was your thoughts on the whole scene of all that stuff going on there?
Well, like I said, it just showed another combination, but it showed that I think John Walker was right, because to your point, she was going to take the shot. You see her leaning in, you see her clenching the gun, like to pull the trigger. So, yeah, I think she was gone. I think she, no matter what he was trying to do, she wasn't. She was gone, and it was going to need to be somebody else to take her out because he wasn't going to. And thankfully Sharon was there. She was able to take the shot, and it served two purposes. It protected Sam, or Captain America, but at the same time, it got her villain and it kept her secret. So they were able to keep two storylines going at the same time, just by taking out the one character. But it's a shame because he kept his hope for her to come around, and it never was realized. Like,
Yeah.
I think he would have died the martyr trying to bring her back.
Right. He never gave up on her.
Yeah.
I think that's more about, I don't know if that's about Sam having hope for her or Sam making a conscious decision on lines that he would not cross.
Right.
He's like, if I have to die, I have to die. And I'm willing to die to do this the right way, but I'm not going to kill her to prove this point, because then I'm just as bad.
Yeah. He's the next Sean Walker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Very deep, man.
Yeah.
And then, Brandon, one of the best scenes in the show, because there's a couple of them, man, and we haven't even got to them yet. But this is one of the scenes here. Sanj had mentioned it before there, where he came down like an angel. But he was holding Carly, unfortunately, to put her into the ambulance there, even though she was deceased and stuff. But this is the main scene where I felt like this is what Captain America sounds like. And this is the conversation that he has with the GRC people who are saying, thank you for stopping these terrorists, these thugs, and all these things. And we hear the conversation that he's having with the GRC about what they're trying to do by removing forcefully all the people, the refugees that are in these countries. And what did you think of the conversation that they were having, with the GRC guy saying he doesn't understand, and then Sam coming back, and just seemed like Sam had an answer and didn't have an answer, but comfortable enough to say that he didn't have the answer.
It was a very powerful moment, and I think it was the powerful moment that you can see where they were trying to bring, kind of like in the whole series, to be honest with you, trying to bring that real life moment of culture and understanding into this, because these are the conversations that we believe, and sometimes we know that these are the people having, that they're having about the same topics, the same times, fictional GRC or not. These are the conversations that governments and people in power do have. So it was very powerful to see his answer to them and kind of his response back. Like, listen, like, I don't know everything, but he's like, I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. Like, I get it. He's just like, and I want to be a part of the solution and not the problem. I especially love the part where, you could see he was ticked off about the female councilwoman, her response to the calling them terrorists. And he was like, you guys are one email away from taking out the rainforest. You're one phone call away from taking food away from all these people and countries. Like, it was a very powerful moment. And I teared up a little bit during it, because
he shamed
it was great.
He shamed the shit out of
Shamed them hard.
Yeah, he said you could feed 1 million people right now if you wanted to.
But you choose not to. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then you make all these decisions without the people that it impacts as a part of this decision making. What about you, San? Tell me about this conversation that they were having there, man.
I know it was so great, and like you said, how he had an answer for everything, even when he didn't have the answer.
Mhm.
And then you saw the whole subplot and the subtext, I guess, of what they've been trying to do all season when he says, I don't understand. I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. And you're gonna tell me I don't understand? That was like the culmination of the subtext of the whole season,
Yeah.
that they were doing with him. And it was a great payoff in that moment.
Yeah, man. Just crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
And then the next scene we get there, Al, is the flag smashers that are alive still, the three of them, and then there's one in the ocean. Because they actually tell Sam, hey, we have one that's stuck in the Hudson. You mind going getting them? So he flies off, and that's, I think, the last we see of Falcon in New York at that moment. And then we get the flag smashers here going, basically being arrested, being put into a paddy wagon there. And as they're being put into the paddy wagon, Al, we get the One World, One People from the security force. So I'm
Yeah.
here thinking, oh, this is not going to end, or they're going to be part of the Thunderbolts, or they're going to the raft.
Yeah.
And then
No, not even. I thought they were gonna get away because the guard that was driving them was basically telling them, "I'm with you." So
yeah.
I thought they was gonna get away. Yeah.
And this is the part where again Hav was reading way too much into this because I thought Steve Rogers was in the damn car. I had to rewind. I'm like, did Steve just show up and take them out?
I think
But
I
I think I will.
It'd
Al,
be funny if like
go was that?
if Chris Evans started doing the Stan Lee cameos as old Cap.
that cheesy smile though, like
Excelsior.
Al, man, what was your thoughts there with Zemo and the raft smiling at the radio playing, and these four gone?
I thought it was great, man. It just shows because I liked his character and the way they played him out during the series. As this villain or anti-hero, is he, which side is he really on? Is he really just a bad guy, or is he just someone whose intents we just maybe don't agree with in terms of how he's resolving his issues and his goals? But basically, his intent throughout the series was he didn't want any super soldiers. So he got his, and I think he had help from Val in terms of putting that bomb on the truck. Because I don't think that old man, no offense, but I don't think the butler was able to sneak past all those guards and everything and put a bomb on the truck. So so I think there's some signs that this is going to be the Thunderbolts in creation, especially with the next scene that came after.
Yeah, and Al, am I correct in saying that there's one flag smasher still alive, right? The one that was in the Hudson?
The one that was in the water. Yeah, I would imagine the one that was the pilot is still out there.
All right. And a little cliffhanger note there for the next few Marvel stuff in case something happens with the super soldier serum. And then Brandon, the next scene we get after that is Val celebrating the fact that this happened. Talking to John Walker's wife, saying, I had something to do with it, or maybe I didn't, but I did. But she's very confusing.
Or did I?
And or did I? Elaine is killing it. What's it called? But I think Brandon, you had kind of called this last week, man. You said they were going to look into the camera and say it, man. She's like, what's taking him so long?
She's like, well, she said it was like, soon enough the world's not going to need a Captain America, but they're going to need a U.S. agent. I was like, what? Like that exact line. I'm like, shut up. But I even in that scene, I was kind of like, where are we going with this? Like, I'm somewhat interested in where John Walker is gonna be going. Is this a Thunderbolts thing? Is this a new team that we're a secret Avengers, type deal? Like, where are we going with this? Because we don't know Val's motivation yet. The Contessa. We don't know what her motivation is. We don't know what side she's on yet, if she's on a side. We don't know what she's alluding to. The whole soon the world's not going to need this. So I want to see, is this Thunderbolts? Is this Secret Avengers? What side is she on? and how does John Walker as U.S. agent play into it? Because
Yeah,
now I'm a
definitely.
little confused.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with John Walker because I gotta admit, man, this guy who's playing him killed it this series. He
Yeah.
made that character very interesting.
He's got some great
Maybe,
parents.
oh man, he killed it there.
Yeah.
And then Sanj, man, after John Walker there, we get my favorite part of this episode, and actually my favorite part of this series has been from from the second episode, is the Isaiah Bradley story and the way they wrap this shit up in a nice, beautiful bow. Sanj, we get him going back to Baltimore to talk to Isaiah, and they have the conversation. And apparently, well, we saw it while we were watching it that Isaiah Bradley and his son were watching what Falcon was talking and seeing what he did in New York to take out that GRC and the their voting and also the flag smashers there, and they had a real conversation. And it's so funny because it kind of reminds me of how like sometimes we talk to each other sometimes where we'll give each other credit but we'll give you a little burn also. You ain't no Martin. You ain't no
Ain't no
ain't no
Malcolm. Ain't no
Malcolm.
Martin. And he's like, touche.
Something special, but
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly that scene there was my favorite part of the series, because going back to what I was saying about what type of Captain America is Sam going to be, right? The movie was the series was all about everybody having their different cause. Like we were talking about Zemo, and is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't think this was about good guys and bad guys. This was about your cause, and everybody's fighting for their cause, right? And losing sight of how them unilaterally going after their own cause and supporting their own cause at the expense of everybody else hurts everybody, right? Even Zemo and everybody, like everybody's cause was righteous. Carly's cause was righteous. Zemo's cause was righteous. Sam's cause was righteous. Not wanting to be Captain America, to not want to piss off other black people, to be like, to them to say, how can you take up the Stars and Stripes knowing the history of the Stars and Stripes as a black man, or whatever. Remember, everybody's either fighting their own cause or running from their own cause, in one way or another. And at the end there, Sam made a decision. I'm going to be Captain America because the cause is righteous. But I'm also not going to run away from saying that we got work to do to make it all righteous. And then he set out to make believers out of everybody and saying, no, if we still do this the right way, it's going to take us longer. We don't have all the answers. And he still came back to Isaiah Bradley as the last piece of the puzzle. And he made a believer out of him too. Like, look,
Yeah.
we can do this. And it was wonderful. Loved it.
Yeah, man. And Al, man, that scene in the museum, he takes Isaiah Bradley and his son over to the museum saying he wants to show them something. And he takes them to a section of the Super Soldier Museum, or Steve's part of the Captain America Museum there. And you see the soldier standing there in honor of Isaiah Bradley, or it's a replica of Isaiah Bradley as a soldier with his history and everything. And Al, man, when Isaiah Bradley hugged Sam and started shaking, dude,
Yeah, okay.
waterworks, bro.
Yeah, man.
Waterworks. Bro.
Yeah, no, because you can feel what he as a character was going through, man. He was a proud man. His whole life and everything he has sacrificed and done for his country, to make his family proud and everything, was erased. So to walk into that room and see that you've been memorialized and what you did and sacrificed for your country and for your people is now on full display for everybody to know, when you thought you were going to die a ghost. Like, I can only imagine what he felt like in terms of, I don't want to say satisfaction, but at least relief that he's not going to be an unspoken part of history, as if he was, something to be ashamed of. Now he's out there on display as something to be proud of. So I thought that was like a good finish for his character, because it was something that was definitely deserved. And and long overdue.
Yeah, man. He said they'll never forget you.
Yeah.
Never. He said it
Yeah.
twice, never. And Brandon, man, we finally get Bucky trying to make amends and finish off that book, man. And he gets the chance to speak to the character from the first episode there. Now, this is something that kind of not bothered me, but I would have liked to see a little bit more because it was pretty fast how they concluded his storyline with the guy. What was your thoughts on that?
I was happy because we knew this was happening, and I
Mhm.
wanted to see the scene unfold. And I agree with you. I think it was shorter than I would hope. The dialogue there was pretty quick, where he told him that he killed his son, and he said why. He's like, because I had to. And I wish it had gone maybe just an extra line, just just for like one thing where he just kind of says like I'm sorry, kind of a thing. Like it was more like I understand that Bucky had to say it just so that it was there, and that
Mhm.
this man can now have that
Closure.
closure. Thank you very much. So you can have that closure there, but it kind of seemed like for Bucky it was giving him closure, but not allowing Bucky to have kind of a not closure, but kind of just moving on with the moment itself. Like I like that they did show him passing by the tea shop, and him
Mhm.
speaking with the waitress from the first episode. But I wish he had gone in.
Yeah.
like I wanted him to have gone in. Like you can understand why he would have gone in, assuming that they're not friends, But I would have liked for him to have walked in.
Yeah, man. And then we get a little I would say a montage of Sam back in Louisiana. And it looked like a brand new Bucky signs walking through the family and the crowd and everything. And just a beautiful ending, man. They're two guys who I don't know, man. I don't want to say they didn't like each other because they definitely hung out and talked and stuff. Even though the beginning of the series, Sam was not Sam, Bucky was ignoring Sam's calls and text messages. But to see them like arms around each other, Bucky smiling, Sam smiling, after what we witnessed for these 6 episodes, man, what'd you think about the ending, man?
Well, Bucky, he is a different Bucky because he's Bucky again, completely. He's
Yeah.
no longer the Winter Soldier in any way. Even when he became Bucky again, still he was worried about that little part of the Winter Soldier being with him, and he was hesitant to fight or do anything because he was so afraid of reverting to being the Winter Soldier. He was haunted by his time as the Winter Soldier and burdened by it. He's now unburdened of it. He is no longer the Winter Soldier. He has forgiven himself,
Yeah.
for all the things that happened. I think and a lot of times any of us, is what being stuck in your own mind. So
Yeah.
he's no longer stuck, so he can live now, like that whole life that he didn't have. He can live that now. And then as far as between him and Sam, the issue was they were looking at it from two different sides, and neither of them was seeing each other's side of what that shield meant, or how it affected each other in context of what it of how Steve Rogers plays into all of that, right? For Bucky, and then you hear Bucky say it. That was the last part of Steve, and Steve was the only family I have. So now this inanimate object is the only family I have left, and you threw it away. So what does that mean about me? It's like, and that's why there's this thing between them. It's not that they don't like each other but that those are things that cut deep, right?
Right.
And then he's not sitting there thinking that Sam is struggling with what it means to be a black man and be Captain America, right? So nobody's listening to each other. Now they understand each other. They're both unburdened. Like, but Sam's not carrying the burden of letting Steve down and letting his people down, right? He's not letting
Mhm.
anybody down, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And Bucky's unburdened too. So now they can be who they are.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, it was a beautiful ending, man. I thought it was really
Yeah.
done well. Just really done well, man. It was awesome, man. And then we did have a post credit scene, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Just Sharon got her pardon, and then she leaves. And as we guys know, she came out to be the quote unquote power broker for now. Maybe she was talking to the power broker on this phone call, but at the same time, it was just basically hinting at that she is still on this path of either being a bad guy or someone that's in the mix to kind of mess things up for whoever the heroes are in the coming future. So that nothing too crazy, but it was still something to see there. So if you guys don't know, there is a credits there at the end that you can see Sharon getting pardoned. Now, just to kind of wrap this up here, what was your overall thoughts of the series, of Falcon and him being Captain America and Bucky, getting redeemed here? Brandon, talk to me. What was your thoughts on everything there for the series?
I love the series. I give this series a solid 9 out of 10. It wasn't what I expected it to be, and I'm happy that it wasn't what I expected it to be, because what I got out of these episodes was a really great ride, a really great story for both of these characters and the other characters as well. And I'm excited to see where they go in the future with these guys. We now know that there's Captain America 4 in development,
Yeah.
so I'm happy to see that they'll both probably be in it, and I want to see what happens with that. And I also want to see what happens with Sharon Carter in the future, so it did a great job of developing a lot of characters and stories and pushing them forward to now we see how they work in other stories.
Yeah. Al, your final thoughts on the series?
No, I thought they did a good job. I mean, for a series to have two major characters from the MCU universe and have to give them some form of an arc from beginning to end, I thought it did a good job of not only showing you both of their arcs, but how they got from where they were to where they ended. Sometimes you see that arc and you're like, I still don't know how they got there. It's a leap or a jump or a reach, but you see all of the steps throughout the episodes of how both of them got to where they ended up. So I thought the show did a good job in that sense.
All right. Yeah. Sanj, your thoughts?
Echoing what both B and Al said, you think it's going to be one thing and it's something else, and what it is that they end up giving you is something so incredible. So it's just, to me, how they keep doing, Disney and Marvel, how they keep doing things where it all fits in the same universe so well, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is so completely different in style and feel than WandaVision, right? But it all fits in the same universe so well. And the fact that they're using this format now to push the story forward, they're giving us so much depth to the story in this format, that it's just, to me, it's going to make it so much better when we get back to whatever they're going to do on the big screen. And it's just, we joke about cinema and whatnot, but right now they're giving us the best entertainment out there.
Yes, they are, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, I think they killed it with this series. I think they absolutely made it something amazing, something good to look forward to seeing on TV. It's just, to me, like, I give Disney and Marvel kudos because they didn't have to touch these subject matters. They were political, racial, everything that things that are touching now
as well.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of stuff that they didn't have to touch. They could have caused a rift or whatever, but they didn't care, and they did it, and they went for it. And in my opinion, they succeeded completely, because if anything, it gave people like a little bit of an insight if you don't have one, and I feel a lot of people do need a little insight, because even myself seeing reviews for the episode was like mediocre, or it was okay. And I always wonder if it's because of the eyes of the person or the mind of the person who's watching it, that they think it's mediocre. They may not understand how powerful some of those moments were. You know what I mean? Because to me, again, the Isaiah Bradley, Sam becoming Captain America, those were big deals to me. And I don't know, I can't talk for the fellas here, but for me, those were heavy issues, and it made an impact on me, honestly did. So I definitely think that the series was well done and worth it. So yeah, I can't recommend this anymore. I mean, I think I would rather watch this series than some of the MCU movies again. I think it's
Absolutely.
Right. I don't know if it's top 10, but it's definitely in the middle of the MCU, if not top 10 of the MCU there, of all the stories that are being told. So yeah, man, incredible. Love it, man. It just got me looking forward to Loki. I don't even know what Loki's going to bring. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, we've been talking up for a while there, and we're going to have to wrap it up right here. But we thank you guys for listening, watching on YouTube, and listening on your favorite podcast app. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button below, or if you listen on the podcast app, hit the little plus symbol by our name. That way we can show up for you guys every week. Every week we put out an episode talking about what we love and what you love. Movies, Marvel, big movies, entertainment. We try to bring it up. All right. And then next week, we might talk about some of the winners for Oscars. I didn't know the Oscars were tonight. So we're going to watch some of that, or just at least talk about some of the winners and see what we thought. And then maybe give you like an update on the movies we have watched in the last 2 months there, and tell you what we think about some of those movies. So coming out of Long Island, New York, we got my brother B.
Bon voyage.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
We got my boy Sanj.
Good night, everybody, and stay safe.
And myself, Hop, thanking you again. And as always, saying, have the best time out there. Watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier again. It's Captain America and the Winter Soldier now. But we thank you guys. Appreciate the vote, the subscribers and the listeners, and the amount of plays we're getting on YouTube and the amount of plays we're getting on podcast streams. Thank you guys so much for that. We'll catch you on the next episode. Until next time.